Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another episode of Let's Talk Chelsea. Talking all things Chelsea news, recent Chelsea news, but firstly, before we get into any of the wider news in recent days, we have to talk about the big news of today, this morning. What a great way to start your Thursday as a Chelsea fan, because it has now been confirmed, it's official, it's done. Timo Werner has signed for Chelsea Football Club. He will be a Chelsea player next season. We knew this was going to happen. We were just waiting for confirmation, but it's brilliant now to have it, especially after last night where he scored an absolute wonder goal for RB Leipzig after a spell of a couple games where he was missing chances, but he scored an absolute peach of a goal last night, so definitely go and check it out. This is brilliant news, it really is, and it's great to have the confirmation, especially ahead of the game against Aston Villa, which we're all very excited for, so it's going to add that more excitement and hopefully will add that energy into the first team squad. I really hope this motivates a player like Tammy Abraham to think, if he starts on Sunday, I'm going to go out there and prove myself. Matt Law, who originally broke the news about Timo Werner signing for Chelsea last week, has very much been at the forefront of this. The reported fee is a little bit under 50 million. I don't know if that's going to rise over time, but either way, it's an amazing deal for Chelsea. It's a massive statement deal. And I look back to January where there was a lot of fan frustration over the lack of big signings then. And now we jump forward 6 months to where Chelsea have not only signed Timo Werner, which is massive, they've also signed Hakim Ziyech. And as we're going to get into in the rest of today's video, there could be some still big signings that are going to impact Chelsea's squad next season. There also was a sense that the announcement was coming this week because Timo Werner had withdrawn from the RB Leipzig Champions League squad as well. So that basically gave a telling sign that the deal was about to happen as well. And now it's confirmed, now it's official. Frank Lampard can now officially plan, and anyone worrying about Timo Werner, that wait is finally over. He's going to be a Chelsea player next season, and we can really focus now on the game on Sunday. So it's absolutely brilliant news. I've really covered Timo Werner in depth. I've covered, the inside story of that, my opinions about the deal, and all of that, and also how he could shape up with Chelsea next season and Tammy Abraham. So please go and watch the videos on the channel about that I have made in recent weeks. But overall, a massive deal, probably the biggest for me Chelsea news in terms of a transfer, a massive shock of a transfer since N'Golo Kante, probably, if I'm being truthful. And hopefully, if Timo Werner can be as successful as N'Golo Kante, it's going to be an absolutely wonderful move for Chelsea. Next, we're going to stick with Matt Law from The Telegraph and his reporting about Kai Havertz, and Chelsea very much still being in the race for Havertz. They're going to try and sign him this summer, and as you can see here from Matt Law, Chelsea are going to wait to find out whether or not Bayer Leverkusen are going to stick to their 90 million plus valuation of Havertz as the German club battle for Champions League qualification. Leverkusen currently value Havertz at more than 100 million euros, 89.5 million in pounds, as they field interest in the winger from Chelsea, Man United, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. That is around 20 million more than Chelsea would hope to pay for Havertz, but there is a belief that the asking price may have to drop if Leverkusen fail to finish in the top 4 on the Bundesliga. And Havertz, I talked a lot about him. I think he'd be an absolutely amazing signing. Is he worth a world record fee for me? If that would maybe be at the detriment of other investment for Chelsea this summer, I'm still not entirely sure. If I'm being completely honest, I think he'd be an absolutely amazing signing and another statement signing by Chelsea. If we are prizing Kai Havertz away from those clubs, it's another massive statement of intent by Chelsea. And I think it definitely would improve Chelsea's first team. As I've always stated, though, I think that you'd have to consider who would make way for Kai Havertz in Chelsea's midfield, because it is absolutely stacked. So who would make way for him? Would it be a bigger player, a bigger name like Jorginho or N'Golo Kante, or would it be maybe a lesser name like Ross Barkley, or maybe we could make funds other way like selling Marcus Alonso, Emerson, or maybe a central defender? As Matt Law and other reporters have stated, though, it's not going to be as simple as the deals for Timo Werner and for Hakim Ziyech. This one is going to run and run. It's a bit like, I think, the Jadon Sancho deal, where Chelsea may have to look elsewhere. But, if Manchester United, for instance, I talked about this before, if Man United are really intent on getting Jadon Sancho, that may really help Chelsea in signing Kai Havertz instead. So we're really just going to have to wait and see. I think it would be a major statement. I know so many of you guys who watch my channel talk about Kai Havertz, how much you want him at Chelsea. I spoke about, and I think it was either last week's Let's Talk Chelsea, I think it was, the flexibility that Frank Lampard wants in his side and what Kai Havertz can give you, a bit like Timo Werner in playing in a variety of positions. And I think that's what makes Havertz such an exciting prospect for Chelsea's midfield. And I think is absolutely why Frank Lampard is trying to pursue him, and Chelsea are trying to get him this summer. So please let me know your opinions on Kai Havertz. Do you think Chelsea would be able to spend a world record fee, or do you think actually they'll be able to drop that price if Bayer Leverkusen reason weren't to make Champions League football in the Bundesliga? And do you think Chelsea can get Havertz in front of those other clubs trying to get him this summer? Please let me know in the comments below. Next is another Chelsea target, and it is Said Benrahma from Brentford. Apparently Chelsea have begun discussions with Brentford winger Said Benrahma's entourage, according to journalist Mohamed Boufassi. I've probably butchered that second name, apologies. But Fabrizio Romano as well has talked about this in recent weeks. I think in the Jacob Steinberg report as well, when we were talking more about Ben Chilwell, Benrahma is definitely on Chelsea's list. I want to talk about this because I tweeted about it yesterday on my account and about Ryan Fraser as well. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Ryan Fraser in comparison to Said Benrahma is not only because he'd be on a free, but also because apparently Chelsea, according to The Athletic, in January, Chelsea and Frank Lampard very much wanted to get Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth, but apparently Chelsea went in another direction. We did sign Hakim Ziyech a couple of weeks later for, of course, a bigger fee. And just looking for that next wide player, because I think now officially signing Timo Werner, I think Chelsea will maybe be looking for one more wide player, because of course we know Werner can play wide as well, and especially if you're going to get Havertz as well, he could potentially play wide as well. So you've definitely got a lot of options there to play with, but I definitely think that rotational winger still is something that Chelsea I think will want to bring in. And I think that Benrahma, for me, if you're talking about Benrahma and Ryan Fraser, I'd definitely go for Said Benrahma, not only because of his age, but I think it's a real roll of the dice that could pay off massively for Chelsea if you were to bring him in. Not only because I think there's a lot of people who don't really know about his game, don't really know what he was doing in the Championship, and Brentford have been really playing an impressive style of football this season, and he's very much been at the forefront of that. And I think it's one of those players, just because he plays on the Championship, I've said this before, just because a player is doing well in the Championship, don't dismiss that instantly. We've seen players from the Championship come up to the Premier League and do amazingly well, and Chelsea could benefit off this. You know, if the fee is going to be something like 24 million, I wouldn't put it past Chelsea going in and getting this player. I think it'd be a brilliant shot for Frank Lampard, and it could turn out to be an absolutely amazing deal for Chelsea in the long term. And I think it's a deal that I like to see from Chelsea, looking outside the box. Ryan Fraser is a more well-known name, and Ryan Fraser did have stats. There was an article in The Athletic as well that I'll link below, talking about his stats that were as good as Eden Hazard in the 18-19 season. This season, he hasn't been doing as well for Brentford, and I look at Ryan Fraser's age compared to Benrahma, and probably Chelsea, for value-wise, are going to get better out of Said Benrahma, in my opinion, especially considering the figures he's put up for Brentford this season in the Championship. I would love to see Said Benrahma come to Chelsea, and I'd like to see this deal get done. I think it'd be really good. Let me know your opinions on Said Benrahma. What do you think he could bring to Chelsea as a rotational winger, and maybe in the future become a first team player as well? Please let me know in the comments below. Lastly, I want to talk about Pedro, because this exclusive came out last night from Simon Johnson in The Athletic, that Pedro apparently is unwilling to play for Chelsea after agreeing a move to Roma this summer. Pedro is unwilling to finish the season with Chelsea because he has agreed terms with Roma to play for them in the 2020-21 season and does not want to put the move at risk. Sources have told The Athletic that Pedro has finalised a 2-year deal with the Serie A club, which includes an option for another year. This situation feels very similar to Timo Werner, of course, dropping out of the Leipzig squad to come to Chelsea, which of course has benefited Chelsea. And this is something that's very unique, very rare to this situation that a lot of clubs are dealing with. I just talked about Ryan Fraser at Bournemouth, and now Chelsea are dealing with this with Pedro and Willian. We don't know the situation with Willian about that short-term contract extension yet. But Pedro, I think, just simply for me, if you're getting angry about this, I think you need to get into some perspective and think about what Pedro has done for Chelsea. He's been an absolutely brilliant player for Chelsea, an absolute class individual all the way through his Chelsea career, has given us some absolutely brilliant moments. He's always been a joy to watch on a football pitch for Chelsea. He's going to be fondly remembered by Chelsea fans. I wrote an article for All Things Chelsea, which I'll leave a link in the description box below that you can go and read, really looking through Pedro's career and how classy he's been to Chelsea. And I think he's been a player that I think has given us some great moments. I think he's probably helped the squad in certain situations. I think he's been underrated at times. You know, the fact that his final game for Chelsea probably will be that one against Everton, where he played really well. He ended his Chelsea career on a high probably, and that's a great way to go out and very fitting for his career. What a glittering CV he has, and to go to Serie A, maybe finish his career at Roma, I think is going to be brilliant for him. I have nothing but the best for Pedro. I think he's been absolutely exceptional for Chelsea. He's been a player that's contributed to many special moments, so I wish Pedro all the best. And I think you need to understand the current situation, how Frank Lampard gets around this. You know, he may have to play a bit more narrow in certain games if he wants to rotate the squad a bit more, only really having 3 fit wingers. You know, if you talk about Christian Pulisic, Callum Hudson-ODOI and Willian, but we do know Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount can play out there as well if Frank wants to sort of vary up the formation at times. But what I'm going to say on this is thanks to Pedro, thanks for his service for Chelsea. Please let me know your opinions on Pedro's career at Chelsea in the comments below. know. But that is it for this episode of Let's Talk Chelsea. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea. Have a great day, and I'll see you again.